Hello everyone. Today we're going to talk about 10 games that resemble The Witcher 3 in terms of structure, gameplay, and atmosphere. But before we dive into the comparison, make sure not to skip ahead because I'll explain how we'll be breaking everything down. First, let's talk about why we love The Witcher 3 so much. The lore in The Witcher 3 is a deep and detailed world filled with mythology, political intrigue, and cultural nuances that make every location and character unique. Everything in this world is well thought out, from the magic to real historical parallels. The game's storyline stands out for its non-linearity. Geralt's story is not just a journey, but a series of moral choices that affect the outcome of events. Even side quests have significant consequences, making every decision meaningful and important. Next is the open world. The world of The Witcher is a living organism. Forests, cities, villages, fortresses, every corner hides something, whether it's a dangerous monster, an ancient legend, or a forgotten secret. And of course, one of the key features of the game is its dynamic combat system and customization options, allowing for varied approaches to combat. Geralt's arsenal includes swords, magic, and potions, and each battle requires a strategic approach and careful skill development. Now that we've covered the core aspects of The Witcher 3, let's dive into the games that can give you similar feelings. Let's start with Enderal, one of the most ambitious and well-known mods for Skyrim, which evolved into a full-fledged game. What makes Enderal similar to The Witcher 3? The main similarity lies in the story and lore. Like in The Witcher, in Enderal we encounter a well-crafted world full of political intrigue, ancient secrets, and philosophical questions. The story here doesn't offer easy solutions. Every action the player takes can have serious consequences, and moral dilemmas constantly arise along the way. Characters in Enderal aren't just background figures. Each one has their own motivations and secrets, making the world feel more alive. Enderal's world is just as rich as The Witcher 3's. It's full of diverse locations, from dark forests to ruined cities. Each area is packed with secrets and lore waiting to be uncovered. And while Enderal doesn't have as vast an open world as The Witcher, its attention to detail and plot twists make every location meaningful. The combat system in Enderal also echoes The Witcher, with its focus on a strategic approach. It's not just about swinging a sword. You need to use abilities, magic, and potions to survive dangerous battles. It requires a thoughtful approach, especially in encounters with strong enemies and bosses. The main difference between Enderal and The Witcher is the psychological depth of the story. Enderal focuses more on the personal experiences of the main character and philosophical questions, while The Witcher reveals the world through the lens of mythology and folklore. The next game on our list is Two Worlds 2. This is another open-world game that can remind you of The Witcher 3, though it has its own unique features. The first thing worth noting is the atmosphere and lore. The world of Two Worlds 2 is full of ancient secrets, mystical creatures, and powerful artifacts, making it similar to The Witcher in terms of richness and layers. The lore is well developed, and the story unfolds through a variety of quests that often include moral choices and unexpected twists. The world of Two Worlds 2 is much less detailed than The Witcher's, but the atmosphere evokes the fantasy lands we love in Geralt's story. The open spaces are vast, and exploring the world is enjoyable, especially with the customization options for your character and their gear. The flexible leveling system allows you to shape your hero to your liking, whether as a mage, warrior, or archer. However, the combat in Two Worlds 2 isn't as dynamic or polished as The Witcher 3's, though it still offers a tactical approach and a variety of weapons and spells. Here, both physical strength and the ability to use magic play a key role in battles, giving the player more freedom in choosing a playstyle. While Two Worlds, the second of may not match The Witcher in depth and scale, its atmosphere and lore create similarities, especially if you enjoy exploring fantasy worlds full of secrets. Before we move on to some obvious candidates, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Speaking of similarities with The Witcher 3, what could be more alike than the earlier games in this legendary series? The main similarity between these games is, of course, the world and lore. The Witcher 1 laid the foundation for the entire universe's lore: magical creatures, ancient legends, political intrigue, and racial conflicts. In The Witcher 2, these elements evolved. The world became more complex and the storylines gained greater depth. As in The Witcher 3, the choices the player makes affect the world around them. The quests are also multi-layered and often don't have clear-cut solutions. The story arcs in The Witcher 1 and 2 are fascinating because they show Geralt's development as a hero. If the first part was more focused on one location, then the second part scaled up the events, bringing The Witcher 2 closer to the epic nature of The Witcher 3. As for the combat system, the first part was more static, resembling classic RPGs. In The Witcher 2, the combat system significantly improved, becoming more dynamic and demanding of player skill, though it still didn't reach the level of The Witcher 3. Nonetheless, both games maintain the same spirit of adventure and exploration that's present in The Witcher 3. If you're into the lore of the Witcher universe, then Thronebreaker, The Witcher Tales is what you need. While the game isn't an open-world action RPG like The Witcher 3, it offers an immersive story set in the same world. Thronebreaker is a mix of card game and strategy RPG, where you control Queen Meve as she leads her army against invaders. The main similarity with The Witcher 3 lies in the deep lore and story. The game thoroughly explores the political landscape of the Witcher world, adding many new details to the continent's story. The quests are also crucial, and your decisions affect the storyline. Moral choices and unexpected consequences are key elements, just as they are in The Witcher 3. The gameplay of Thronebreaker differs from The Witcher's combat system, as the battles are card-based. However, the strategic element adds a fresh twist, and if you're interested in the Witcher world, this game is a great addition to the main series. The next game is Assassin's Creed Origins, and although the Assassin's Creed series has its own unique elements, Origins has a lot in common with The Witcher 3, especially after Ubisoft saw the success of The Witcher and decided to create its own version. The main similarity is the open-world structure and the approach to quests. In Origins, you explore a huge and detailed world of ancient Egypt, encounter a variety of characters, and complete diverse missions. Of course, the quality of quests in The Witcher 3 is on another level, but some missions in Origins are still quite engaging. The character progression and customization system are reminiscent of The Witcher. You can choose how to develop your hero, improving skills in combat, stealth, or magic. However, unlike The Witcher 3, Origins puts more emphasis on stealth and parkour. After all, an assassin is an assassin. While the story in Assassin's Creed Origins isn't as deep as in The Witcher, it's still engaging, especially if you love historical settings. Origins may not reach the same depth as The Witcher 3, but it's a solid clone with its own strengths and weaknesses. The sixth game is God of War 2018, and while it's not an open-world RPG, its deep story, well-developed world, and dynamic combat system make it worthy of comparison to The Witcher 3. The main thing that makes God of War similar to The Witcher is its strong story and characters. Kratos, the game's protagonist, experiences internal conflicts, which are reminiscent of Geralt's complex personality. Both heroes are tough warriors who face moral dilemmas and are forced to make difficult decisions. The world of God of War, though not fully open, is full of secrets, mythological creatures, and epic battles. Like in The Witcher, every corner of the world hides its own secrets, and character development allows players to customize Kratos to their playstyle. The combat system in God of War is similar to The Witcher 3 in its dynamic nature and emphasis on tactical actions. You have a wide array of abilities, magic, and weapons, allowing for varied and strategic battles. Our next game is an RPG classic, Gothic 2, Knight of the Raven, but with a twist. Today, we're talking about the mod Legend of Ahssun. Gothic is a game that was released before The Witcher and served as a major inspiration for the developers at CD Projekt Red. Gothic 2 was one of the cornerstones of RPGs in the early 2000s. Its dark world, complex quests, and non-linear structure inspired many, including the creators of The Witcher. CD Projekt Red has acknowledged that many ideas, from NPC relationships to the depth of quests, were drawn from Gothic. The Legend of Ahssun mod is a fan-made expansion that adds even more content and depth to the already rich world of Gothic 2. This mod not only introduces new characters and a fascinating story, but it also brings in moral decisions that remind us of those found in The Witcher 3. The world of Legend of Ahssun is filled with detail, and although the game's engine is old, the atmosphere is as immersive as in more modern games. The next option is Risen 1, another gem from the creators of Gothic. Like The Witcher 3, Risen 1 offers an open world filled with interesting characters and deep quests. The biggest similarity with The Witcher 3 lies in how the quests develop and the world design. Risen takes you to an archipelago full of ancient ruins, magic, and mysterious creatures. The quests in Risen are complex and often require investigation and careful interaction with NPCs. The world of Risen is smaller than The Witcher 3, and the combat mechanics are simpler, but it makes up for it with its unique atmosphere and a narrative that will keep you hooked. The combat in Risen is dynamic, with a mix of weapons and magic that allows you to approach battles in different ways. Now let's talk about Stormrite, an open-world fantasy RPG currently in development that has already started drawing comparisons to The Witcher 3. Stormrite promises a world full of political intrigue, magic, and ancient secrets. The decisions you make throughout the game will impact the story and your relationships with characters, which is reminiscent of The Witcher 3. The combat system is also dynamic and focuses on both physical attacks and the strategic use of magic. Players will be able to develop their skills and customize their characters in a way that's similar to The Witcher 3. Although the game hasn't been released yet, expectations are high. What do you think about Stormrite? Don't forget to leave your comments. Finally, we have Crimson Desert, a title set to release in 2025. This AAA open-world game blends elements of fantasy and realism and has caught the attention of many players due to its visual style, which is reminiscent of The Witcher 3. In Crimson Desert, players will explore vast territories, face dangerous enemies, and uncover ancient secrets. The world is filled with fantastic creatures and magic, bringing to mind the rich lore of The Witcher. The combat system is dynamic and will allow players to use a variety of weapons and magic, which closely resembles The Witcher 3. Although the game has not been released yet, expectations for Crimson Desert are quite high. If you enjoy open-world games, deep quests, and rich lore, keep this title on your radar.